Hello everyone.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Are you Alka? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I rename it.
Thank you, sir.
So today we see how to install the Python. Okay, in our system. I think most of you already have the Python in your system or not. Am I audible to you or not? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Chirag,
Audible, sir.
audible, and Vijay Anand. Am I audible? No. Audible. Correct. So for data science purpose, we require the Anaconda. If we just only download the Anaconda and install it, we could do the all task regarding the regarding it data science, data analytics. Okay. Python separately, we could download the Python, install the Python also. But Python is a universal language, which is also being used for the web development and embedded programming. So when we download the Python and then we have to download some other IDs like Jupyter and the Spider, some other IDs. And then we have to install the packages, whatever required. And it will not come along with the Python. Okay. So with Anaconda is a distributor. So first I will explain you about this whole scenario of the Python. Okay. So you could better understand if somebody don't know about it. So which languages should you learn for data science? So there is a R we know already. R we have used for the data analytics purpose in this all. Now we see what is new in the Python. Guido van Rossum introduced Python back in 1991. It has since become an extremely popular general purpose language and is widely used within a data science community. The major versions are currently 3.8 and the 2.7.
The screen is not shared.
Okay.
Sir,
Just
screen is not shared.
Just a moment. Now it is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
So it was developed in 1991 and the 3.8 and 2.7 are the latest version of Python. And the pros and cons we see for the Python. Python is a very popular mainstream general purpose programming language. It is a general purpose. R is only for the data analytics. Okay. And the Python is not only for the data analytics. It is also used for some other programs. It has an extensive range of purpose-built modules and community support. Many online services provide a Python API. And Python is an easy language to learn. The low barrier to entry makes it an ideal first language for those new to programming. Packages such as Pandas, scikit-learn, and TensorFlow make Python a solid option for the advanced machine learning applications. Okay. And if you see the cons, type safety, Python is a dynamically typed language, which means you must show due care. Type errors such as passing a string as an argument to a method which expects an integer are to be expected from time to time. Okay, so it is the safety type. is not much more there. For specific statistical and data analysis purpose, R vast range of packages gives it a slight edge over Python, as I explained you earlier, who attended my R session. For general purpose languages, there are faster and safer alternatives to Python. Okay. So for the general purpose language, it is better. Python is better. If we see the verdict, excellent all-rounder it is. Python is very good choice of language for data science and is not just entry level. Much of data science process revolves around the ETL process, extraction, transformation, loading. This makes Python generally ideal suited. Libraries such as Google's TensorFlow make Python a very exciting language to work in for machine learning. Okay. So here you see, I have written two things, Python and the Anaconda. Python is basically a programming language. Anaconda is a distributor of that. Okay. So I will explain you the Anaconda versus Python programming first. The key difference between Anaconda and Python programming is that Anaconda is a distribution of the Python and R programming languages for data science and machine learning. Okay. While Python programming is a high level general purpose programming language. So in Anaconda, we could run the R also. Okay. It consists of Python and R distributions and the package manager called Conda. Okay. In the R, you know that R programming in the R studio, the package manager was the cron. Here we use the package manager. Here in the Python, we have to first use the package manager for installing any package. You have to use the package manager. So in the Python, you use a pip package manager, PIP. But in Anaconda, you use a Conda package manager. Conda import so-and-so library. And the Python pip import so-and-so, install so-and-so, not import, install so-and-so library. Whenever you install the package, you have to use the package manager. Anaconda provides a bunch of pre-installed libraries and packages. In the Python, we don't get bunch of libraries and packages. But Anaconda itself, it provides the libraries and packages like the NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn, NTLK, and Jupyter. Now, this all Jupyter is an IDE, integrated development environment, as we use in the R Studio. The same, just like in R Studio, we use here Jupyter in the training purpose. There are so many IDEs. We have the PyCharm, we have Spider, we have some other also, Atom and some other, but we use the Jupyter here. Anaconda Enterprise is the Anaconda's commercial product. It allows business organizations to develop enterprise level, scalable and secure application. Okay. And as you know that the R Studio, we have the commercial product also for the R Studio. We could purchase the R server and these all things. The same here in the Anaconda. However, to perform data science tasks, one can install Python and then install packages using PIP as required. Pip is a manager. So package manager. And Anaconda is an alternative and it provides all required packages at once. Okay. If you install the Python, then you have to install all the packages separately through the package manager pip. But if you install the Anaconda, there is no need to required packages you have to install. It will come itself with the Anaconda. So it is more convenient for the users in the primary level. Both methods perform the same task. If you install the Python, then you install the Jupyter, and then you run it, no problem. It will perform the same task. The developers can choose either one of them depending on the preference. Okay. Usually the data science community prefer Anaconda as it solves a lot of common issues at the initial stage as well as throughout the development process. Overall, Anaconda makes data science and machine learning tasks easier. Okay. So this I explained you why we are going to install the Anaconda. Okay. So we have the Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda distribution. If we see the most tested distribution for the data science, the Anaconda Navigator, the desktop portal to data science, and the Anaconda project portal data science encapsulations. We see the data science IDs. We have the Jupyter, Spider, Jupyter Lab, R Studio. We could use here. data science libraries which come along with the Anaconda, NumPy, SciPy, Numba, Pandas, and some other also. Visualization Bouquet is a library for the visualization. Matplotlib is there, Seaborn is there, and HoloViews and the data shader, and this all. Machine learning, we see the TensorFlow and the Learn, H2O and Theano will get over there. And the Conda is the data science package and environment manager, as I explained. So these all we get in the Anaconda distribution. Now I have made one table for understanding in a better way about the Anaconda and the Python programming. If we see the definition of the Anaconda, a free and the open source distribution of the Python and R programming languages for data science and the machine learning related application. And the Python program is the open source interpreted high level programming language for general purpose programming. The developer here is the Anaconda industry. Continuum Analytics developed Anaconda, and the Gudo and Resum designed the Python software foundation, developed it further. Package manager here in the Anaconda, we use the Conda, and there we use the pip. Package management is the Conda allows it installing Python non-Python library dependencies. The Python pip allows installing Python dependence libraries. Usage mainly used for data science and machine learning, Anaconda, and Python we use for the variety of application. Community has a minimum community, then Python, we know the Python is a universal, so there is a large community, big community over there. But here Anaconda is only for the data science. It is a distributor. So it is a not like that large community. How to download Anaconda? So I think the persons who does not have the Anaconda in their system, they could download the Anaconda. I explain you. You just write down the www.anaconda.com and I will show you how to download it. Just write the download Anaconda. If you have the Windows, you could write for the Windows. And here you will get this product list. Are you getting my screen?
Yes, sir.
Here you use this product list and here you the individual edition. You have to choose. Okay. And then you download it from here. You see here, we get the 64-bit graphical installer or the 32-bit as per your system requirement. You could get the Mac OS and the Linux. You click on here, 64-bit, and it will be downloaded in your wherever you have that. Okay, Anaconda, and you download it. Okay, and then you run it after downloading and follow the instruction. Just click on, and I will just show you one important thing there, which is that software. This I am running, you see. When you download and then you install it, and like this way, you run it, and when you run it, you will get the 64 bit I have taken here next, and then the agree, and then just me. No, so you put the all users. Okay. Just me install for just me. All users request admin privileges. If you want, then all users you use it for the all users. And do you want to allow the following program to make the changes in your computer? Yes. Okay. Then you don't browse it. On the default position, you will install it. Okay. So I have already there Anaconda 3. So it will not show me. Okay. So I am just browsing. You don't have to browse it because I have already. So I am just showing you this thing. I will not install the whole. Okay. Just a moment. Just a moment. In a different position it is required. So I have already installed the Anaconda and the Python both. So it will not allow me to go there. So I want to quit it, and you just follow the instruction whatever you will get and you install it. Okay. You all try to install it. If you get any trouble, you could ask me. Then we start the session with Jupyter, how to run the Jupyter and how to run the different packages over there. Okay. So I think that is the 7:35. So 10 minutes I will give you to install these in your system. If you stuck somewhere, you could ask me.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, like some packages all will be installed in 3.8, or like we have to downgrade it in making login.
You are installing Anaconda, no?
Yes, sir.
There is no need to install anything else. You
Okay,
will
no,
get
sir.
all the packages together.
Oh,
Python, everything you will get in the Anaconda.
okay. In 3.8 version.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
3.8 or the 3.7, whatever the latest they have, you
okay,
will get it. Okay.
okay.
Hmm. So have you downloaded it? Yes, Sally.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
You have downloaded and installed it.
Yes, sir.
Anil Kumar ji, Vijay Anand downloaded it. Okay. Anurag, Aditya. ओके अनिल कुमार जी ने डाउनलोड कर लिया, राज ने कर लिया. ओके मिस्टर चौहान. ओके ये हरीश करेक्ट. ऑल ओवर एफएमई हैव यू डाउनलोडेड इट?
Yes, sir.
ओके नाइस. मेमो, राजबंशी, इकरा अशरफ, इकरा हैव यू डाउनलोडेड जुपिटर, oh sorry anaconda? Yes. अरुणिमा, आकाश स्वामी, हसैन. Yes. Okay, if somebody has any problem to download it. Okay, so let me share my screen with you and I will show you. You see here, there is a Anaconda Navigator. Are you getting on the start menu? Anaconda Navigator. Yes. You click on that. It will take little time. It would take little time. Look at here, we are getting this. Are you getting this type browser? Okay. Then launch Jupyter Notebook. It will be open in a browser. Okay. Got it this everyone? So let's we start it. Look at here. You see on the right hand side, there is a new button is there. Getting it? And there is a Python 3. You just click here. You will get it. Okay. Are you getting this sort of cell? Anybody's have any difficulty, any problem? I will just write something here and you will see. Five plus 4 I write and I run it. For running, I have this run button. You see, I am getting the result of this. Okay. So it is the generally I have written some operation here and I am getting that result of the operation. Okay. And I will see what is variable, how to create a variable. And a variable is what? It is a when we create a variable, it gives some position, some location to that variable in the system. Okay. If I create a variable like x is equal to is a assign sign here, 50. And I have another option, control enter. Why it is not running here? Okay, I will run it in this way. So it is we have run it. Now I will see what is x here. So I'm getting the 50 is x here. And if I see the location of this, if I have to add another cell, I could click here. And I will see the location ID x. It is a location of that x. Okay. Where it has been stored in our system. And I make another. The same value I am assigned to.
What is location?
What?
What is location, sir?
Location in your system in the cluster where it is saved. X is saved for 50.
The memory.
Memory. Okay. It is saved over there. And if I run this, and I see the ID of this y. You see there is a difference in the IDs. Is there any difference in the ID x and y? Yes?
Location?
No difference. Because it is given the value 50 is there in our Python. Okay. So the same value it is giving the two object name x and y. And that's the same location. The 50 has the same location. Got it? Does it mean if I write y equal to 100 and I run it, and if I see the ID of this, it will be different. It will be different. Got it? Is it clear to you? So one value we could give different name and it will be saved on the same memory cluster. Got it? Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
And if we give the different value, then it will mention in a different cluster. So that is the thing. Second thing, how we give an object name. And there is a some what we use in the R also. The same thing is here. We could not start any object name with a numeric number. You could not write like the 4 more. I am writing a name for 4 more for the object name, and I see what happens. I am getting some error. It is not appropriate. Okay. If I write in this way, I run, it is also not appropriate. If I write 4 here instead of, then I will get it. It's okay. It's correct. There is no error. If I run it, there is no error. If I write the hyphen, not hyphen, underscore, and run it, I will get there is no error. And if I write here hyphen instead of underscore, and you see here, we are getting some error because it is minus. It will treat as a minus. Okay. Even if you put the dot, you see what happens. It will give the error. So only you have an option. Either you could write the number directly of the any letter or the word, or you could use the underscore only. But in R, we could use the dot also. But here we could not apply the dot. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? A number has predefined address, but if you write some character, some strings, it will have the different. Okay. So we have to use this like this, and the object name should be as short as B. Okay. Don't write a big object name. Sometimes you get some mistake while mentioning that again and again you reuse it, and you will do some spelling mistake, and you will not, it will not run over there. So if I run this, then it is okay. So does that make sense to everyone up to here? So these are the variables. We have created this variable and this variable. There is only equal assign sign. In the R, we have 2 assign. One is the equal, one is the dash greater than, which we use for the assignment of a object. Is it clear to all? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, I will use Python here because I have in some folder that thing is. So I will close it and I will use the Python. You continue with the Jupyter notebook, because I have to use some other files which I have kept in the some folder, and I will easy for me to access from the Jupyter Lab. So I will explain you how to convert this in Jupyter Lab. You see there is a tree, you just select it and you write there lab, LAB. Got it? And you run it. Here, not in this, here on the home page. Got it? And run it. Is it clear to all? It is a Jupyter Lab now. Okay. In the Jupyter Lab, what is here? We are getting the files name, what we are getting in the home, and the next page we are getting that our Jupyter Notebook page. Here we are getting on the same browser. We are getting that. If you open it here, you will get here the same, and you could minimize it, and you could use it. Okay. You could select any file if you have the files of integrated Python notebook .ipynb integrated Python notebook. So you could use it here. This is the home page. There is no requirement of the home page. How to go to the home page? So you have the just before that there is a home page. Just you have opened this notebook. Before that there is a home page. It will automatically, if you select the Python here in the Jupyter, it will be open as a IPYNB format. Okay. Interactive Python notebook. Interactive Python notebook, IPYNB. Interactive Python notebook. Okay. So okay, so I will explain you that. You just on the home page, you here is a tree has written to here on the address bar. You see, instead of tree, just type lab and run it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So after lab, just enter.
I just enter.
Okay. So it's written not found 404 something.
Okay, it may be some problem
Okay.
over there. So you could use the tree also there again. You write the tree.
Okay.
Sometimes it open and why it is not opening, I don't know. But it opens mostly.
Yes, sir. It opened. So after that, where like Python something you said.
Okay. So I will explain you the thing. I just close it. And I will open it. I will open it from my folder because I am using the Python now. I am not using the Anaconda. Previously, I have used the Anaconda, but because I do some other work also, the Flask and the Django I run here. So Flask and Django is also the framework of the Python, and there we have to use that Python for the deployment of the models. So here I am going to use some files. You see in the session 1 what we read. I will explain you. Python is a programming language. Python can be used on server to create web application and learning by examples. So if you have to print something, I'm just print the hello world. So first I remove whatever I have the outputs and I run it. So I will get the hello world. So it will just, I have not given the any object name. I just print this what I want to print. So Python is a popular programming language. It is first created. I have explained you earlier with the web development, software development, mathematics, and the system scripting. Okay, that is the embedded language, and the mathematics is the data science, and the software development also we use it. Python can do used as a server to create web application. This I have given. I will share with you, and you will read these all things. And there is no need to much explain about it. Now, the second script I will show you, which is indentation. Indentation is very, very important in the Python. Okay. So I will just explain you some indentation here. Then we study over the data types later on. I am assigning x equal to 0. If x is greater than 0, print it is positive. Else if x is smaller than 0, print it is negative. Else print neither negative nor positive. I run it. I am putting 0, so the response would be this. And if I putting here 5, then the response would be it is positive, greater than 0. If I write the negative number, then issue it is negative. If I just run it, the indentation is very important, you know that. So I have to put the right place to this whatever I am taking. Here see 7 is greater than 5. So if I run it, I am getting. If I write in this way, I will not get it. Okay, that is the indentation. So what? How we get the right place for the indentation? When you put the enter, you will get the right place of the cursor, and then you do it easily. Okay, that is the way. That is the indentation I explained. It's not a difficult task. And the comment, if you are writing the comment, if you have to write the comment, just put the hash as we use in the R also. Then you write whatever it will be treated as a comment. The Python will not work with that comment. It just, and you could write the comment in this way also. And here you are writing, here we are writing, no problem. And if you have to write the multi-line comments, you could write in this way, or you could write the 3 quotes, single or double quotes, whatever you want to write, and write the comment whatever you have. And you run this, so you will get the hello world only. This comment will be not read by the Python. Does that make sense to everyone?
Sir, for multi use
Hello, you are not audible properly. The voice is cracking. Yes.
multi comments, you have used 3 quotes.
3 quotes. The single quotes or the double, whatever you want, but 3 quotes. Okay. Here also, here I have used the single quotes, but 3 times. Okay.
Sir, in above example, wherever you have used if clause, that time you use print, but that is with some indentation. But if you type a single print command, it doesn't require indentation spacing.
And that is the single, no?
Yeah.
That is a single. Indentation is required in the conditional statement on the for loop and these sort of things.
Okay. So that is a single tab, right? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is used in the conditional statement. We study in the detail later on, but I have just explained what is the indentation basically.
Okay, sir.
So this is all about the indentation in the comment. Now we see about the third script, which is the variable. So this I little bit explained you earlier, the what is the variable, how we create the variable. variables are containers for sorting, storing data values. So these are the containers. So unlike other programming language, Python has no command for declaring variable. The variable is created the moment you first assign a value to it. Okay. So if I assign this X and I just remove these all output and I will show you this again, you will see, and I say this is 5. So one more cell I put here and I see the type. It is an integer. Automatically it will select the class. Okay. And if I write the D type, okay, D type. Oh, sorry. Type we have to write. The D type we will use with the dot. Okay. So that is the integer. And I just put one thing. D type is the integer 64. Okay, I will take later on that. So here I explain you print X, and this you know that if I am writing the X5 and the Y7 and I just comment it and I run it. So I will get the output 7 because the Y I have not written the print, but I have just written the Y. But if I write the X here also, I will see what happens. The X should be print or not. I am getting only 7. So last one will be print by itself. But the previous one, if you want to print it, so you have to write the print there. Got it? Look at this. What? Oh, print का spelling color. You see, I'm getting both. Does that make sense to everyone? Last one, there is no need to write the print. Okay. In the previous, you have to write down the print, whatever you want. Here you see, if you write the both, okay, no problem. You will get it. We are writing the X 5.2 and the print welcome, comma X. So you see what happens. Welcome 5.2. Welcome is in under quotes. So this word will be printed here. And the comma we have written, then it will be printed with one space of this. And type of X, if I ask here, so it is the float type because the decimal is there. Okay. If I just write the 5, and I will see the type now. So it is an integer. Got it? The difference between float and integer. Okay. Again, I do it 5.2. Why I'm doing it 5.2, I will explain later on. And I run it. So it is the type. If I see it is a float type, and I convert this in integer, which is the 5.2. So what will happen? Multi-line comment, sometimes we have to write in the Jupyter the multi-line comment. Like this is a, I want to write the multi-line comment here. I have written this comment before that, whatever the syntax I have written, I want to mention something about that. So the multi-line comment, which in the many lines, so I will use the 3 quotes up and the 3 quotes below, and it will be treated as comment. The Python will not read the comments. Is it clear too? Vijay madam, have you got it? Python will not read the comment. Python will read the things which are uncomment, which are not comment. It will read only that thing and it will perform the task on that only, whatever we are giving to the Python. Okay. It will ignore this thing. R will ignore, oh, Python will ignore this thing. commit. Okay. So what where you so I am converting this in the integer, and I will print x, and then I will type x. So you will see it is the 5 instead of 5.2. What was it? It was the 5.2 x, and I convert this x in an integer. I have put the method integer here. So it is the integer data type. So now it has converted this in integer 5.2. It has taken the 5, and the type is now integer. If I write here 5.7, see what happens. It's giving me 5 again. So it is giving me the, what it is giving me? Greatest integer. Greatest integer it is giving me. It is whether it is 5.7 or the 5.9, it will give me the 5. It will not give me the 6. 6 is the round off figure. Okay, it is not give me memo the 6. It will give me the 5, the greatest integer. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, if I convert any float in an integer, it will give me the greatest integer. Okay, if I write in this way and I round it off by x3 up to 3 decimal places, I will round it. So there is a round function as we use in the R also. So x is equal to round x comma 3. I will just giving the same object name again, and the print x. So I will see what happens. 5.938. Got it? This round will give me the instead of 7, it will see the later the word number is there, the 6. So it will take the 1 from 6 and it will give me 938. Got it? The same function which we used in the R. Okay. And here you see I'm assigning x, theta, and the y ram, and I'm doing x plus ram, y. So what I get, I see theta ram. Okay. I want some space between them. Got it? Okay. It is just like a paste function. Okay. We have the paste function in the different data form. I will explain later on. I am writing a number in quotes. So when I write the number in quotes, I will get the strings. There we get the character in the R. But here in the Python, instead of character, we will get the strings. There is no factor in the Python. There is a strings only. Okay. The object which are not numeric or float are strings. Okay. Or the Boolean is the logical here. Okay. So print type X, type Y. So print type X. If I write the print type X, so you will class string. If I write the type Y, then the string only. You know? So it will mention when I write the print, then it will mention the whole thing. The class is a string. And here it will just show me the class string. Okay, that's not a big difference.
Sir, instead of 2 commas, if you use single one,
A single one we could use, no problem. You could use single quote or double quote, any.
it will show type as a string only, or
Yes, a string.
okay, fine.
There is no problem. If you could use either double or the single quote, there is no difference.
Yeah.
If we are using x is equal to 4, x is of the type integer here, print type x, and y is equal to Shelly, x is now the type of string here, as I explained you. So this is the same thing. Okay. This is the integer. and x I am writing the 6 and it is the integer. Now I am converting this 6 x in a string. So see what will happen, how we get it. So we get the string and it will be in the quotes now. Got it? It is now a string because I have used the string here, the string x. We could change the class of the data using the function string, numeric, string, integer, float. Through this we could change it from one class to another class. Does that make sense to everyone? From numeric to string we could convert, but we could not convert a letter word which are in a string into a numeric. We could not convert that. If it is number, you could convert in an integer or the float, which is in the string. As I yes.
Sir, there is complex also, so we cannot convert complex to integer or string.
Yes, there is a complex, but we are not covering this here. Complex,
Okay.
Okay. So X is John, and I will show you the complex later on. Okay.
Okay, sir.
X is John, print X. So it is the case sensitive language. Here I'm writing the small x, here I'm writing the capital X. You see what will happen. We'll get an error. Okay. So always be careful. So it is the same. Now I will show the variable name. Says a variable can have the short name like as I explained you. So you read this, the variable name must start with the letter or the underscore character. A variable name cannot start with a number, which I explained. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric character or underscore. Okay. A to Z, any number you could use, capital to small. 0 to 9, any numeric value you could use, and underscore. Got it? Variables names are case sensitive. So age, if you are writing this one, if you search for this, you will get the error. These three are the different object name. Okay. So different variables, we could say that. Does that make sense to everyone about the variables?
Yes, sir.
Now we see the fourth one, script. We have a different data types. In the Python basic, we have a different data types. In the NumPy, we have other data types, and the Pandas, we have other data types. So first, we study about the Python basic data types. So we see the built-in data types, which are in the Python. The variables can store data of different types, and the different types can do different things. Okay. Python is the following data types built in by default. In these categories, text type are always strings. Under quotes, we write it. Second is the numeric types. We have the integer, float, and complex. I will mention you these all three. Sequence types like the list, more than one element, tuple, and range. Okay. And the mapping type is the dictionary. Set types is the set and frozen set. And the Boolean type is a logical, the true and false, that is a bool. Binary types is B bytes, byte array, and the memory view. Okay, we will not go in deep in this with. And getting the data type, you can get the data type for any object by using the type function. So as we have already used it. So it is the integer, it is the float 5.6, and it is a string, it is integer, it is float. And this is the way to write the complex number. Instead of I, we write here j. Okay, in the imaginary part, 3 plus 1j. Okay, we don't use I here. Okay, no problem, Rama. So this is the complex. I will run it and you will see it is the class is complex because I have typed the print type X, and then I'm printing the X. So X is the 3 plus 1j. Got it? J is for this if you write the complex in this way, J is fixed here. I is we have used for the positional positions in the loops or the something else. So here we are not using the I, use the J. Okay, that is fixed here. Now I'll show you these are the complex, and somebody asked me, can we convert these in integer? So I write here y int x. So we could convert this complex in integer form. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that is the thing. And now I will tell you about the other data types, which are this we have seen. Strings we know now. Numeric we know that. Integer, float, and complex, you know it. Okay. Now we see the list, tuple, and range. Okay. So I will show you list first. Whenever you have to write a list, then you use the square bracket for the list. Okay. So y, 2, 6, 9, 10, these are the elements in a list, and print y. So this is the print, I have printed the list, and this the type is the list. Got it? I create a list for the fruits, apple, banana, and cherry, and the similar thing. So it is the list. Okay. If I talk about the tuple, we will go in detail also in these sort of data types. But here I am just giving you the introduction today. Here is a tuple. Tuple we use the round bracket. Okay, in the list we are using the square bracket.
In the list, can we say different data types in list?
Yes, we are using the character string here. We are using the numeric value here. We could use the some other also. We could use some other also. 5, 7. We could write it. No, you will get it. Okay. Yes. We are using the different data types here.
Sir, what is the difference between list and tuple?
Tuple list is mutable. We could change the elements in the list, the values in the list. Okay.
Sir.
We could add the elements in the list, but in tuple we could not change the value in the tuple.
Okay, sir. Okay.
It is immutable. Okay, that is the difference, the basic difference, the list and tuple. So if I create a tuple, so you see this is my tuple. We will go in detail also. We have the different script for the all data types. We have the different for the list, different for the tuple, different for the dictionary. We have the very data how to create
But
a tuple.
tuple also can be used different data types.
Yes, we will see it later, no? The use of the different data types. Yes. Yes.
Sir, so in R, list was considered as a homogeneous, right?
No, heterogeneous. List is heterogeneous in R also, you see.
Okay.
We
Acha.
put various sort of elements in a list, no?
Right, right. Oh, sorry, I mixed with. It is a vector. Vector should be
Vector
right,
is there.
right, right. Okay, okay, fine, sir.
So in the tuple, we could not change the value, or we could not change the size of the tuple. Okay, so that is immutable. Now the third sequential data type is the range. I am writing the range 6. So it will start with 0 to 6, between 0 to 6. And so it is 0 to 6, the range. Okay. So if I okay, later on I will explain this to you. I have not written it. Okay. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to there. It would be okay. And there is a next is a dictionary. Dictionary is a mapping type. This we have seen the range tuple. Will go in detail later on. Here I am giving you the just introduction. This is the dictionary mapping type. So dictionary is what I will explain you. So here I am making a dictionary name, and name is John. This is the key, and this is the value. Name is John, and the age is 36. So there is a column you see. I will write here. So basically, this key is the column name, and these are the values as you seen in the Excel sheet. Okay, and I run it, or we use the curly bracket here. We use the curly bracket, and I run it. So I will show you this the dict you see like this. Name John, age 36, and the class is dict. And if I convert this dict in a data frame, so I will show you how does it look like. So I just clear all outputs, and then I will show you. So this I am taking the 2 instead of John. I am taking the John and Ramesh and the age 36 and 25 and the print X. And then I will print the type of this, and then I convert this dict, this dictionary, in a data frame where I will use the library pandas for the data manipulation.
Why we convert in data frame? I'm not able to like.
I am showing you. I am showing you. This is a different data type of the pandas.
No, I'm just asking why. What is the purpose? Why we
okay.
change it?
Okay. Just I show you this one. You see, this is my dictionary.
Yes.
But we could not work with this. Okay. Can we work with this? No. So what we do, first we convert this in data frame. Now you see this data frame. Getting it?
Okay.
So now we could work this with data frame.
Okay.
In the data frame, there is an indexing.
Okay.
In the dict, there is no indexing. You are getting the indexing in the dict.
Okay.
In this dict, you are not getting the indexing.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are getting the indexing. In the Python indexing starts with 0. But in our indexing starts with 1. Got it?
Yes.
So here the indexing starts with 0. 0, 1, 2 it is the default indexing. Okay, we could change the indexing also. As per our requirement. We will tell you later on that. Got it? Okay. So whenever we have to work with the data, then we convert this dict in a data frame.
Okay.
Data frame is just like an Excel sheet.
Always it will be like an Excel sheet or something a different
rows and columns.
Always like an Excel sheet.
Yeah, no, but just like it's not an Excel sheet, just like an Excel sheet format.
Like yes. Okay.
Understand?
Okay.
The rows and columns. Yeah. Okay. We could save in an Excel format, CSV format, whatever you want. We could save it. Okay. So now I will explain you some more about this. I have changed the same thing I have done here also. Krishna Kishore, age 20, 21. I have the same thing I have done here. Now I will tell you about the set. We have seen the dictionary. Now we have the set, another data type. Set, we have used the curly bracket again, but in the dictionary we use the colon. Okay, with the key. Here we don't use any colon. We just put the element name, comma, element name, comma. Okay. This is a set, and this is, and the frozen set. This is our frozen set. Okay, we could not change here in this frozen set. Okay. So we don't use this in much in the data analytics part. Now I will tell you about the Boolean data. So X is equal to 2, print type X. So I will get the Boolean. Okay. So the true and false, that is the Boolean data. That is again that set of the numeric value, which I have explained here, the set of the character here, set of the numeric value. And this is the B type. The B we write first and then we write the hello, and I will print it. So I will get the bytes. This is the bytes data type, or we don't have work with this. So I'm not explaining this in the much deeper way. You just run it. Yes.
So that frozen, can you tell, like it's just fixed for that we use frozen?
Yes,
set?
yes, frozen set.
Okay.
Okay. So this is not useful here, the memory view and this all. If you see, it is not a usable for us for the data analytics purpose. If I write the 256 in a string form, if I want, so I will write the str 256. So I will get in the quotes. Okay. So I will get 250. This is the string now. We could not apply the mathematical operation here on this X because it is a string. Or we could write the string in this way also. Okay. The two way we have, we could either use the quotes or we could use the string function method. Complex, if I write for the 56 is the integer and I convert this in complex. So what I will get, you will see here. What I am getting, because I don't have the imaginary part. So I will get the 0j. Got it?
Yes, sir.
If I write the y, 56 plus 2j, I am not converting this in integer. I just want the integer part of the y. So I will not get it. Cannot convert the complex to integer. Okay. So this, we could convert integer to complex. We could convert float to complex where we will get the 0j. But we could not convert the complex into integer or the float. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow.
In Boolean,
Yes.
hello.
Yes, yes.
In Boolean, you have done one code called byte array. What does this mean, sir? Byte array of 5. Boolean.
Which one? Boolean or what?
Boolean, you have done byte array of 5. One function you have done. What is that? Byte array bracket 5.
This 18 number you are talking about this?
No, after 20, sir. After 20.
after 20, it is a B type. That is a, I will tell you, binary type, P types. Okay. So we are not using these binary types here in the data analytics. That is not required. If I print this, it is not required to in the data science. It is required in the web development and some other. Got it? In the embedding. So we are not using this, the memory view and this all. Okay. So tomorrow we see these numbers. We'll see in detail. We will study about the integer, float, and complex in detail. In the type of type conversion, we will see there the random number we will see over there. Okay. And then create a random multi-dimensional array. Then array we will read later on after studying the NumPy array. We could better understand it. Okay. So the numbers we will see in detail tomorrow. And I think I will share these all scripts, up to 4 scripts we have covered today. I will share with you. And we could go through it and do some practice with this. I hope it will help you. Okay.
So we will open the file in file option like lab 1.
Okay. You could open the file. There is an open option. You will see wherever in the Jupyter there is a open a file option. From where you could take that file here. Like here in the lab, you just go wherever you have the file. You select that file and you open it. So it will be here in this sidebar. Okay. And from here you will just double click and it will open here.
So screen is not visible.
Okay, I will show you. Just a moment. Here you see if you are running the lab.
Yes, sir.
This button you are getting.
Yeah.
My cursor.
Yeah.
And wherever the file you have kept in the folder.
Okay.
Just open that folder and you select that file from there.
Okay.
Just like you want to open this one, then open it. You could select the multiple files also. You have the 4 files, you select 4 and you will get this file here.
Okay.
And then here double click and you will get that, access that file, and it will be always there whenever you open this. There is no need to next day you have to use the same thing. No requirement. You will get it here.
Okay.
It will make one view here. It is a view. It is not a copy. It is a view of that.
Okay.
So whatever you will change here, it will be changed in the original file.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And so from left side one, this corner, from there also we can open? No.
This one?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. So left, yeah, that one.
We could remove it from this here.
Okay.
No, you could remove it if you click on the folder. Then, if you want some new and you could add on something, then it is a new launch book. You want a new Python Jupyter notebook page. You could just click here. You will get a new page.
Okay.
This plus sign.
All right.
Okay. You want to create a new folder here.
Yeah.
So you will just put here. You will get one new folder. Got it?
Yeah.
Or you could save here the files also in this folder. Okay. At this you upload the file, whatever file you want, you could upload from there. Okay. As I mentioned you earlier. You could
Yeah.
take the files wherever it is. And this is the thing, enable extension manager, and these all things, clear console, and this I will explain you later on these all things. Okay, but
sir. Thank you, sir.
first we understand the data types, these all things, then I will explain you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I have a question regarding the ID function which you explained. So, uh, does that indicates the memory status you mentioned?
Memories.
Okay. So, I mean, if I use a single word, like suppose x is equal to 5 once, so and another time I have printed x is equal to 5, so it should show the same memory or it should increase memory size then?
No, it will on the same, na? If you see the ID, you, next time I'm also writing the X, or I use some other, na? Not X only. I use Y5, then ID, Y. I will get the same location.
Okay, okay,
It will give you the location of the file.
okay.
It will assign in this way. I will explain you. You have a file. Got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Assign it this way. If you want, if you write the Z will be on the same. It saves the space.
Okay. So any mathematical operation would be, I mean, it is a operation on this cluster 8791.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Fine, fine. And another question, sir, what is the exactly use of this tuple, right? How do you
Yes.
pronounce? And a
Because
list.
we sometimes we get the output of some methods of the function in a tuple format. You will see later on that thing, and you see the importance of that also. As the last time we have in the R, we have seen the importance of the list. Na?
Right,
First time you were very confused with the list, and later
right,
on
right.
you are well aware about the list, what is the importance. And the
Ri-
same way, you will see the tuple. Then we read go in the deep in the Python. You will see the use of the tuple there.
Okay,
At
okay.
this moment, if I explain, you could not understand the thing. When you see the
Fine, fine.
practical, so you will get it better.
Sure, sure.
Vijayji, the Python is faster. Why it is? Because it is written on the C and the C++. Okay, R has its own some mixture of so many things they have used in the R platform. So R in the for the big data, in the small data, there is no difference you will judge in the speed. Okay, but in the big data, there is a millions of rows and so many columns are there. And if you process that data in the R and Python, then you could judge the difference. The Python is faster. Few commands are same. Few commands are same. As you have seen, the round function is the same. R in Python both. Okay. Describe function we used in the psych library. Here we have in the describe function in pandas. We use it. No, everything is auto saved here. Everything is auto saved like R. Okay. If you want to change the name, then you could put change the name of the script. As you see here is a name untitled. Okay, I want to change this name. Just a moment. So I just okay, just a moment. I will just click here, rename notebook. So I could rename it. Okay. So I could rename it. Here also I am not getting, I am getting that function here also. It was hidden there. I just click on that header and I will get the rename notebook. Okay. Otherwise it will saved automatically. Next time I will open it, I will get this untitled one also here. And I will get all the commands what I have written here, the to cell I will get here. Okay, just like R. Okay, just
Sir, like for Python, there is Jupyter. I can consider like as a editor, something like that. So, there is any other option we can execute the code for Python beside of Jupyter?
there are so many options in Python. There are so
Okay.
many options. There is a spider, there is a PyCharm, and there is a atom,
Okay.
and there is so many
Okay.
options.
So,
But for the learning purpose,
mhm.
for the learning purpose, the Jupyter is the best one. Because here in the cell, below the cell, we get the result.
Okay.
And then cell by cell. But in the PyCharm, you have to write down the whole code and you have to run always the full script.
Okay. Or like beside of the learning, we can also do some analysis by using Jupyter, like
Yes.
something.
Yes. We can do. So
Okay.
we could convert this IPYNB file into a PY file. .py is the Python format, Python extension.
Okay.
We could convert
Okay.
this IPY, this format to the Python format also. So you could apply
Okay.
this somewhere else also.
Okay. What we said this, I mean, what we said the name, like, what is this? This is some editor or what we said? Jupyter
ID, these are called the
ID.
ID.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
interactive development environments, we have these all.
Okay. Okay, sir.
And basically, these are the IDs.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Mukesh, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sorry for, sir, taking some more time.
No, sir. That's good. At least they have some queries, questions. We should answer it. So thank you very much, all of you. And can I ask you to start your camera, please, all of you? I prefer, that to see you guys happy faces.
I'm in office, so I can't now.
No problem, Alka ji. आप रहने
Thank
दीजिए.
you.
Okay. So as we are done with today's workshop, I see very less participants in this workshop just because there was some, that glitches with the the Zoom meeting link we have shared. Let's see from tomorrow we have more participants to join. So meanwhile, those who are willing to take, that this workshop study material or video recording of the session, please feel free to fill the form after paying. It's very small amount. It's only 1,500 rupees for 10 days, not even 150 rupees per day, which is very nominal fees. It supports that to run this operation, and in dollar it will be, I think, around 1 second. I think $24 or $25, something like that. So you can just pay that and then get that this benefit. Anyone has any concern on payment gateways or something, feel free to contact us. We'll try to help you. All right. So see you again tomorrow. Anybody here who is also doing R basic, because R basic is running 5 to 7 and then we starting Python. Those who are doing R also. Okay, so this is basically few people I see that they have done R. Now they are doing Python. Okay, great. So let's meet again tomorrow, 5 o'clock. So those who enjoy the session, please, you can click on thumbs up button for sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. See you then.
Take care. Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank you, sir.
everyone. Thank you.